Hey there, I'm Chirpy Crow, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving beak first into the murkiest, most scandalous moments in American presidential history. And trust me, this is gonna get messy. Now, you might think being president is all about fancy dinners, Air Force One, and pressing the nuclear button. Wait, scratch that last one. But throughout history, some presidents have decided that following the rules is for losers. Spoiler alert, it didn't end well for them. From break-ins to cover-ups, from affairs to straight-up lying to Congress. We're covering the scandals that didn't just embarrass presidents, they literally broke America's trust. So buckle up, because this is gonna be wild. Let's start with the scandal so big, they literally add gate to every scandal that comes after it. Yes, I'm talking about Watergate. And no, it's not about water or a gate. I know, disappointing. June 17, 1972. 5 guys break into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate Hotel. Their mission? Bug the phones and steal documents. Their success rate? 0. They got caught immediately. These were literally the worst burglars in history. But here's where it gets spicy. These weren't just random criminals. They were connected to President Richard Nixon's re-election campaign. And when the police arrested them, they found address books with White House phone numbers. Oops. Now, Nixon probably could have survived this. Just fire some people, apologize, move on. But no, instead he decided to cover it up. And cover-ups always work out great, right? Plot twist, Nixon recorded everything in the Oval Office. Every conversation, every meeting, every incriminating piece of evidence. Why? Because he thought it would make him look historical and important. It did not. As investigations heated up, Nixon tried to claim executive privilege and refused to hand over the tapes. The Supreme Court said, yeah, no, give us the tapes. And when they finally listened to them, there was an 18.5-minute gap, just mysteriously erased. Nixon's secretary claimed she accidentally erased it while answering the phone, to which everyone said, how? The remaining tapes revealed Nixon ordering the cover-up, obstructing justice, and basically doing everything wrong. His approval rating crashed from 67% to 24%. And on August 8, 1974, he became the first and only U.S. president to resign. He literally rage quit being president. Peace signs and all. The scandal was so massive it changed how Americans viewed the presidency forever. Trust? Shattered. Cynicism? Maximum level unlocked. Okay, fast forward to the 1980s. Big hair, neon colors, and President Ronald Reagan. Now, Reagan was popular, like really popular, but his administration cooked up a scheme so complicated, even they couldn't explain it. Here's the plan. Sell weapons to Iran. Yes, Iran, a country the US wasn't supposed to be dealing with, in exchange for releasing American hostages. Then, take the money from those weapon sales and secretly fund anti-communist rebels in Nicaragua called the Contras. Oh, and Congress had specifically banned funding the Contras. Minor detail, just a little light treason, no big deal. When this got exposed in 1986, it was chaos. Lieutenant Colonel Oliver North became the fall guy. During his congressional testimony, he basically said, yeah, I shredded a bunch of documents, so what? He shredded so many documents, he probably single-handedly kept the shredder industry alive. Reagan's defense? I don't recall. He said it so many times it became a meme before memes existed. Investigators found evidence that Reagan probably did know about it, but he maintained plausible deniability like a boss. The Tower Commission concluded that Reagan had a hands-off management style. Translation, he had no idea what his own administration was doing, which is somehow both better and worse. 14 people were charged with crimes. 11 were convicted. But here's the kicker. Most of them got pardoned later by President George H.W. Bush. Nothing says justice like a presidential pardon for your homies. All right, buckle up for this one. The 1990s. Bill Clinton is president. The economy is booming. Unemployment is down. Everything's going great. And then, a blue dress enters the chat. Clinton had an affair with a 22-year-old White House intern named Monica Lewinsky. Now, affairs are bad enough, but it gets worse. When investigators asked Clinton about it under oath, he lied on national television with the finger point and everything. He said, and I quote, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky." He did. Independent counsel Kenneth Starr investigated for years. His final report was 445 pages long and contained details that absolutely no one needed to read. Seriously, Ken, we didn't need that much detail. The FBI tested the dress, you know the one, and it had DNA evidence that proved Clinton was lying. Oops. Clinton eventually admitted to having an inappropriate relationship, which is presidential speak for, yeah, I totally lied to everyone. He got roasted. His approval rating for personal character, 21%. But weirdly, his job approval rating stayed at 60%. Americans were like, yeah, he's a liar, but the economy is good, so... December 19, 1998, the House Representatives voted to impeach Clinton on charges of perjury and obstruction of justice. He became only the second president ever impeached. But the Senate acquitted him. He served out his full term, and the whole scandal turned into a massive partisan circus. Republicans said it was about lying under oath. Democrats said it was about a private matter. The American public said, "Can we please talk about literally anything else?" This scandal dominated the news for over a year. It launched the 24-hour news cycle into hyperdrive, and it made impeachment a household word, which is not the legacy any president wants. Okay, let's talk about the scandal that led to a 20-year war. After 9/11, President George W. Bush's administration claimed Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. WMDs, chemical weapons, biological weapons, maybe even nuclear weapons. Secretary of State Colin Powell went into the United Nations in 2003 with satellite photos, diagrams, and even a vial of fake anthrax. He made the case for war. It was convincing. Congress voted to authorize military force, and in March 2003, the invasion began. Bush famously landed on an aircraft carrier in front of a mission accomplished banner just weeks later. The mission was not accomplished. Here's the problem. They never found the WMDs. Not a single one. Inspectors searched everywhere. Nothing. The main justification for the war? It didn't exist. Turns out the intelligence was bad. Like, really bad. Some of it came from unreliable sources. Some was exaggerated. And some evidence suggests the Bush administration cherry-picked intelligence to support a predetermined decision to invade. The consequences? Over 4,500 U.S. troops killed. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians dead. Trillions of dollars spent. Regional instability that we're still dealing with today. All based on weapons that didn't exist. Bush's approval rating collapsed from 70% post 9/11 to 25% by the end of his presidency. The Iraq War became one of the most controversial foreign policy decisions in American history. Colin Powell later called his UN speech a permanent blot on his record. The whole thing shattered America's credibility on the world stage. Other countries were like, yeah, we're gonna need to fact-check you from now on. And now we arrive at the most recent scandal on our list, January 6th, 2021, a date that will live in infamy, as they say. President Donald Trump lost the 2020 election to Joe Biden, except Trump refused to accept the results. For 2 months, he claimed the election was stolen despite dozens of court cases finding no evidence of widespread fraud. On January 6th, Congress was meeting to certify the election results. Trump held a rally near the White House. He told thousands of supporters to fight like hell and march to the Capitol. And they did. What followed was unprecedented. A mob broke through police barriers, smashed windows, and stormed the U.S. Capitol building. People in cosplay, people with zip ties, people taking selfies in the Senate chamber. It was chaos. Lawmakers had to evacuate. Mike Pence, the vice president, was rushed to a secure location. The certification process was halted. For several hours, the capital of the United States was occupied by rioters. 5 people died. Over 140 police officers were injured. The images went around the world. America, the beacon of democracy had its own citizens attacking its own government. 1 week later, Trump was impeached for a second time. The only president ever impeached twice. The charge? Incitement of insurrection. 10 Republicans joined Democrats in voting yes. The Senate acquitted him again, though 7 Republicans voted to convict, the most bipartisan impeachment vote in history. A congressional committee spent 18 months investigating. They held televised hearings with explosive testimony. They revealed Trump watched the riot on TV for hours and refused to call it off. Over 1,000 rioters have been arrested, and Trump himself faces multiple criminal investigations related to January 6th and attempts to overturn the election. The scandal isn't over. It's still unfolding. Now, we don't have time to cover every scandal, but let's do some rapid-fire honorable mentions. Teapot Dome. Warren G. Harding's administration sold oil drilling rights for bribes. First major scandal of the 20th century. Nixon's secret bombing of Cambodia. Turns out Watergate wasn't even his only scandal. Overachiever. The savings and loan crisis. Reagan's deregulation led to over 1,000 bank failures and a $160 billion taxpayer bailout. Whoopsies. Russian investigation. The Mueller report. Ukraine impeachment. Trump had so many scandals they started blending together. And Biden's classified document saga. Turns out multiple presidents have been playing fast and loose with secret files. Come on, guys. These are national secrets. So there you have it, folks. The presidential scandals that broke America. From Watergate to January 6th, these moments shattered public trust, led to resignations, impeachments, and forever changed how we view the presidency. Here's the thing. After Watergate, trust in government plummeted and never really recovered. Each new scandal chips away at it even more. In the 1960s, about 75% of Americans trusted the federal government. Today, less than 20%. These scandals teach us something important. Power without accountability is dangerous. Whether it's illegal break-ins, lying about weapons, or refusing to accept election results. When presidents break the rules, it hurts all of us. The good news? Every one of these scandals was eventually exposed. The system of checks and balances, courts, Congress, and press, they actually worked. Slowly, messily, but they worked. But we can't take that for granted. Democracy requires constant vigilance. Or as I like to say, keep your eyes open and your beak sharp. If you enjoyed this deep dive into presidential chaos, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you don't miss our next investigation. Should we cover corporate scandals next? Presidential conspiracy theories? Let me know in the comments. Huge thanks to all our supporters who make these videos possible. You're the real MVPs. And remember, history doesn't repeat itself. People do. This is Chirpy Crow signing off.